first met Barack, I was ready for some change. I thought that John McCain was just some more of the same. What I didn't know 4 years ago was that change comes slow. It took 400 years to free the slaves. Lord, I hope they're resting easy in their graves. 'Cause the one thing in America that we all know is that change comes slow. Change comes slow. Hey, Barack, I know you tried to compromise, but you won't get nowhere with some of them guys. I know we got a long, long way to go when that change comes slow. Yeah, it took 400 years to free the slaves. Lord, I hope they're resting easy in their graves. 'Cause the one thing in America we all know, yeah, change comes slow. Change comes slow. So Barack Obama, keep on doing what you do. Keep cleaning up the mess that they left for you. One thing in America we all know.
Change Comes Slow by S.S. Jones. Welcome to the Coonrod Report. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. My name is Melvin Ishmael Johnson, coming at you live from Skidrow Studios. And I'm in the studio with my co-host, Earlene Anthony. Our call-in number is 1-800-893-9562. Now, this week on the Coonrod Report, we will talk about Skidrow and the homeless community with longtime community activists and the founder of Dome Village, Ted Hayes, poet Carmen Vega, and also, in a minute, I'm going to have Ted introduce his two sons here. And then we also have two musical guests, Jessica Wilson Cardenas and Juan Cardenas. Welcome to the Coonrod Report.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. First of all, let's go around and just introduce yourself. Tell us a little about your background as we go around.
Ladies first?
Let's start over with Ted.
Hi, I'm Ted Hayes, homeless activist. This is my 30th year in homeless activism, and I have some plans to eradicate it. Hopefully we can get everybody's attention on that. And I brought with me tonight to introduce, as part of my eventual talk show, my two sons, my eldest, which is Thee, and my youngest, which is Isaac. Thee and Isaac. Want to say something, brother?
Hello, how you doing? Mm-hmm. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Okay.
My name is Juan Cardenas, and I am a flutist and poet. I've been playing flute for about 18 years, and I'm in two different bands. I'm also a poet. I write poetry, and I teach youth workshops over at Dia Chucha's Centro Cultural and Bookstore. In fact, today was my last session with my students, and it was very, very, very nice and lovely. They're intelligent, young girls and boys, and and their imagination goes beyond mine.
I wish you had that flute with you today.
Yeah, I brought my other instrument, my voice.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Wonderful. Okay.
I thought the word was flautist.
It's both.
Oh, it is both.
Flautist. I believe it's the more European term because of the old English, a flautist, and a flutist. Well, since I play the flute, therefore I'm a flutist.
Mm-hmm. Not a flautist.
Yes, I'm a flautist too.
Okay, got it now. Thank you.
It's
Finally
both.
got that straight. I was wondering about that.
It's both. And you know what? A lot of people ask me. Yeah, it's both. You know, flautist, flutist. I play the flute and the flute.
The flouting flutist.
Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm the president and founder of the Los Angeles Poet Society. I'm also a poet and writer, artist, and a singer. You'll be hearing a song later today. And I'm just honored and excited to be here joining you. And I can't wait to see what's in store. And I just want to also mention that I'm excited to be celebrating the 5th year of 100,000 Poets for Change. We're going to be talking about some issues today. And 100,000 Poets for Change is a global movement that is pushing forward. The community's coming together for change to heal and fix things. You know, we're coming together. We're not waiting for any kind of quote unquote leader to do that for us. So
that was with Black Spinach too, right? He was involved with that. Jared.
Yeah. There's lots of organizers in Los Angeles, and so we're all pushing forward. So it's really exciting. This year they're doing their first world conference. So Michael Rothenberg and Terry Carrion got the world together. 5 years later, we're actually having our first face-to-face world conference in Salerno, Italy. So it's good stuff.
We should all go.
Oh, yeah.
Salerno, Italia. Thank you. My name is Carmen Vega, and I guess I'm a local poet and actor and activist by affiliation. I like to get involved with things that I believe require change, and if I can impart my energy in any way to do so, then that's where I put my energy. And thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay.
And my sister.
So you're an actorvist.
Actorvist? Okay, cool.
That's what I am. Actorvist. Okay? We're together now.
Okay. And then my co-host, Arlene Anthony.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Now,
Hoodie.
Now, on tonight's Coon Rhyme Report, we will have a serious discussion about the Skidrow community, because Skidrow community been on national news the past couple of weeks. And I want to discuss the service provider, mentally ill, the activists, the business community, the tent dwellers, the culture, arts, and just the everyday Skidrow community. But first, I'd like to play a short clip of a question I asked Ted when he first appeared on the Coon Rhyme Report in October of 2014. There was a meeting last Monday at the Los Angeles Theater Center to discuss solutions to the homeless problem, especially Skid Row. Over almost 500 people showed up. And it's clear to me that what came out of the meeting is the fact that nobody is on the same page and the homeless problem keep on growing. So Ted, I would like to ask you, and then Leslie, with all of the millions of dollars that are put into the homeless problem, why they can't come up with a solution? Why do you think they can't come up with a solution?
It's political. It's very political. The only reason why the Dome Village closed, it was political. The worst enemies to the homeless are the activists themselves. They found a niche that soothes their itch for fame, for prestige, for money. The advocates for the homeless or the social service providers, they're pimps, basically. I believe they all initially started off correctly, had a right heart, but homeless is a very difficult and complex problem. And they realize, I gotta pay my bills. And then they begin to realize, you know what? If I can feed so many people a day, bed so many people a day, that's a per diem thing that I can give to the government. I can raise me some money. And that's why I quit publicly being an activist, demonstrations, because when we came out in the 85, in those days, it was in the news all the time. The missions and the shelters and the advocates, they had the machinery to go to the constituents and say, hey, you see the homeless are in the news? Send me your money because we're feeding homeless people, we're sheltering homeless people. And if you trace every one of those missions downtown, they all blew up all of a sudden, didn't they? You can trace they're getting the money back to 1985, 86, and 87. That is the root of their money. And I had gone to the social service providers, I'd gone to the advocates, and I went to the worst of them, the activists, and said, look, fellas, I came out here on purpose, became homeless on purpose, slept on these sidewalks on purpose to find out what this thing is and whether or not we can resolve it. And I found something. And they resisted all the way.
Okay, Ted, you want to comment on that, what you was talking about there?
I can't back that cat up, man. I think he said it all. I think not only did he say it, but I guarantee you that is the sentiment of all the folks in downtown L.A. who are homeless. And I tell you something else. You get some of these activists and activists privately in a back room by themselves, they will admit it's a business where they're getting rich off the suffering of other people. And half these cats are playing the race card down here, you know, keeping things all confused and whatnot. No, this is for their name. That's their game. That's what they want to do, and that's why I had difficulty. That's why you see the mess you see out there right now. It's not just the social service providers. They got their little industry going on, too, the per diem and all that kind of stuff. But the real culprits is not the police, and it's not the politicians. The real culprit are the cats who claim to be what I am, an activist. You ask every one of those activists, while you protest against what's wrong, everybody can do that. Do you have any solutions, any resolutions to this problem? No, they do not. I'm the only guy in this country right now that has put forth to HUD, is sitting on the HUD's shelf right now in Washington, D.C., and right here in Los Angeles, a plan to actually eradicate homelessness, or at least minimize its negative effects upon the general community. And it's going to take you and you and you and you, and all y'all out there listening and watching. As Sister said earlier, we the people of this country, this world, we must come together and not depend on these jive-pimping politicians and advocates and so forth. We must come up with resolutions, but we cannot do what Wall Street Occupy did. Occupy Wall Street did. Occupy Wall Street knocked on the door, and to everybody's surprise, the man said, yes, what do y'all want? And they, This time we knock on the door, the man answers, we're going to shock him because we're going to have some answers, some timelines, and some how-tos. So that's what we're up to. We're done with criticizing. I can go out tonight, tomorrow, do a demonstration, get on the news. But, of course, the missions, they'll raise money off the homeless being on TV. But what good is that going to do? I won't do that again until we have a movement, all of us working together to eradicate this.
Okay.
Was that enough, brother?
That's beautiful. let me ask you this, and then all the guests always feel in to chime in. You know, this is almost like a round table discussion.
No, it's a rectangular table.
Going around. But let's talk a little about one of the center points down there that's just coming to the top. What is the effect of the mentally ill on the Skidrow community?
You know, I'll say quickly and pass it on. I deliberately lived conscientiously among the homes where y'all were born back in 1985. And I did it because I wanted to taste it, feel it, see it for myself. So when I did represent the homeless publicly, I was not coming from here, but from here. And one of the things I learned was the mentally ill are not so much mentally ill as we think they are. It's not that many actually clinically mentally ill. What you find, I have found by living there, are people who have acclimated to a certain lifestyle based on the condition in which they have to live, such as eating out of garbage cans, sleeping on sidewalks. I stepped on sidewalks. I know the feeling. Going, urinating and defecating behind garbage bins and things. Eating food and doing things you normally would not do. But human nature says, if I can't get out of it, I adapt. So what you may see is mental illness is a different lifestyle. What you may see as mental illness may be emotional upsettedness, but not clinical mental illness. And that upsettedness we notice with the Dome Village, if you get people into an environment, a geophysical environment, and put within it the right programs and mindsets and attitudes, that emotional upsettedness, it calms down. And I found, Brother Melvin, when we were just living on sidewalks as Justiceville, being chased around the city by the police, you know, we're doing all that Occupy LA moves, I noticed that in organizing the people on the streets, it was easier to work with the so-called mentally ill guys than it was to work with the consciously intelligent cats. I had more trouble out of so-called college-educated guys and intelligent people than I had out of homeless, out of mentally ill. So what's that telling you? You see, what the mentally ill have figured out, so-called, they figured out the people caught up in the rat race of our money-oriented, greed-oriented society that the rich and the poor are suffering from. They realize, you know what? Why should I play intelligent and get caught up in the slavery of the rat race when I can play crazy, man? Kick me some SSI and kick back and relax. 'Cause I ain't going nowhere. This is my world now.
But some of them are crazy, though.
But some of them are crazy now.
Yeah.
Don't
some
misunderstand.
Some are out there crazy. And they lost their damn minds.
Yeah.
Some of them lost their minds.
But that's the
They ain't
minority.
coming back.
But that's the minority.
And what do we do with them?
Oh, you shoot
Great
them.
question.
No, I'm just messing. That's just a
What
show.
do we do with them? What do we do with them?
There are things I noticed when I related with the mentally ill, one of the things that you got to do, if you're going to do something, you got to create something that I call the domestic peace force. And what the domestic peace force is a group of non-homeless men and women, primarily young men and women, who are willing to be trained, willing to put their bodies on the line like I did and their family, and go and live amongst these folks. And you get them, you get, especially those that are like, really out there somewhere, paranoid, those guys that homeless people back away from. Yeah. What you do is you get into that person's peripheral vision on a regular, daily basis. And you gradually pull into their view. By the time you take the time to get in front of them, they're not afraid of you. They'll talk to you. I ran into a cat one time, man, and I've seen him since. He's much better. He was a black dude, really crazy. He was always scratching and just really messed up. And I started getting into his peripheral vision. Slowly, day by day, week by week, month by month, I edged up to him. One day I got close up to him and said, "Hey, brother, what's going on, man?" Trying to be nice. He went, "Oh, no, brother, what's up, man, with you, man? You got it. What's going on, homie?" I was like, "What?" Yeah. He was clear and lucid. I said, "Brother, what happened to you?" He said, "Look, man, let me tell you something, man. I'm from New Jersey." He said, "I was a chemical major in college, and I was getting straight A's, very smart," he said. "But after a while, I started asking questions about life that I could not answer. I kept asking. And he said, I just, for some reason, I just lost it. But and I did to another guy. Same thing to another dude. I know from experience, what we do, we put homeless or mentally ill people in this box. Ugh. No, they're human beings. You approach them as such, but it takes training to do that.
Well, let me ask you this. And
then once you get a hold of them, you can walk them into the resources once they trust you. But they don't trust you right now. Can't blame them.
It seemed to be one of the major problems you have is that police community relations. And the police don't seem to be trained or get enough trained to dealing with the mentally ill or feel that it is their job.
That is not their job. And I've been saying this for years. It's not their job.
Now, what's the solution?
The solution is the so-called activist who say they know so much and are always protesting the police. They need to get out on these streets and hang with these brothers and sisters, take them by the hand and walk them into productivity and safety right where they are, as I have done and others have done. But that takes work. And they ain't about working. They're about making a living off of the suffering of the poor.
Now, two other issues we have, and then Carmen, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to interject because I can see your point in terms of there being people who become acclimated to the circumstances that drugs may lead to them, financial and economic hardship may lead them, but there's an inevitable reality that occurred starting in the 80s when Ronald Reagan closed off a lot of the institutions, and anybody over 18 who didn't have any kind of a support system ended up on the street, homeless. And these were people that were institutionalized oftentimes since a young age. And therefore, there's a problem because there was a dismantling of a service that was provided for people who had genuine mental issues.
Do you know?
And that got dissolved, eradicated. And we know that there's been busing into the Skidrow area of people that are mentally ill.
That's right.
And I have worked with people that were mentally ill.
Sure.
And there's a distinction, no doubt about it.
Sure.
With someone who has
clinical mental illness,
as opposed to who's
depression,
traumatic. And they're not. Maybe there's not that much of a difference, but there is
a difference. Yes.
And there's a psychological requirement, and there's a professional requirement that these people have, and they are not being given that service.
You're true. Who told you that Ronald Reagan did that? Where'd you get that information from?
It was in the news, and it wasn't Ronald Reagan per se, but I believe it was during his administration.
It was during his administration. You know, Ronald Reagan signed the bill. You know who it was?
Who was it?
The ACLU.
Really?
Yes. They were the ones who was behind that. But what they did not do, because they did not want to do it, They did not provide an option. Okay, when these people are let go into the streets, which I think is great, because a lot of stuff going behind them walls in the institutions are criminal, horrendous nightmares. You know what I'm saying? But they should have also then provided a system that would have caught these people. But you see, the ACLU, brother, Melvin and my son, everybody, was not to really help the mentally ill or the homeless, but to create a burden, a greater burden upon the capitalist structure of America to undermine it for the sake of bringing in the socialist ideals. They use these poor, mentally ill people who are innocent as political fodder for some sort of a socialist capitalist agenda. That's what I've discovered out here.
Okay. Let me ask this. Two other elements I want to look at. I want to look at the whole concept of the tent dwellers, because we got so many tents down there now.
Worse than ever.
And also the aspect of Los Angeles probably being, 10, 11% of the African-American population, maybe.
Yeah, we're only, black people are only 11% of the L.A. population, but the downtown, 95%
at least. African-American. What is this situation with that? What can you talk about that? What are the dynamics back there first? And then we're going to talk about what the responsibility.
The greatest dynamic that this country is facing when it comes not just to the homeless here on ground zero, the homeless capital of America here in L.A., Skidrow, so-called Skidrow, but the greater preponderance of the problem with so many blacks, not only in Los Angeles homeless disproportionately, but in San Francisco, Oakland, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, New York, wherever there are urban blacks are, it is from the historical ramifications of 246 years of chattel slavery. Not just slavery, I'm talking chattel slavery. 246 years whereby it was an institution where you didn't question, just like you don't question baseball. It was accepted. That created a psychological damage for generations yet to come. After slavery, immediately after slavery, there was no reparations, no relief for these people, no therapy. We went into 100 years of government-sanctioned laws against us simply because we were former slaves and the color of our skin and so forth. Then on top of that, in 1964, after passing of the Civil Rights Act, which was supposed to help us, we got 40, 50 years of failed government social policies and programs that were specifically designed to create the situation in America that's causing our young people around the country holler, Black Lives Matter. It was a deliberate undermining of black folks by certain political entities in this country. And so that's why you have so many black men, because it was particularly aimed at black men. For example, in America's prisons, folks, there are 2.5 million men, white, black, Latino, Hispanic, Asian, in prison. Half of those men are black men, 1 million. And half of that 1 million are serving life sentences without parole. And then others, harsh, undue sentences. You know why the judges give them harsh sentences? One of the reasons, because they let them go back on the streets. What's going to happen? Because they got no jobs, no housing. What are they going to do? Same old, and somebody will get hurt. So they say, you know what, we're going to hold them. And that's not the system's fault there, that part. That's the African-American leaders' fault, civil rights leaders' fault. They have abandoned us. No one's looking out for our interests. You got 3 elected officials in the city council who are black folks. You got a councilman, Mark Reed Thomas, who's a black man. None of those people are even opening up their mouths about the worst crime, the worst hidden crime that this country has today. And I just said to the BBC the other day, the United States got the nerve to go tell ISIS and Hezbollah and Boko Haram and all the rest of them how to treat their people. But wait a minute, America, they don't respect you because you don't respect the descendants of the chattel slaves and the Jim Crow survived this country. You let every immigrant in the world come here on their back and you don't speak up for them? This is why no one respects the United States, even though we have a so-called African-American president who is really not with us. I'm sorry, I'm diatribe.
Okay.
I apologize.
No. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, folks.
Well, look,
but that's why you have so many blacks on the streets, brother.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on that?
That's I can relate in a fact. I mean, I'm not African American. I am I am Mexican though, and I am an immigrant. I did cross the desert to get over here, and it's that point that you mentioned that they don't respect their own people, their own immigrants. I mean, this country is a melting pot also, and they don't respect us. Like I not only do not respect us, but they really do treat us like shit. It was, excuse my language. It was just so hard to in this country for me to just get by because you can't get a job. Like you could get a job, but it has to be under the table, which is cool. I really did get by working under the table, and it was 2 jobs, and it was hard. But then I got to a point also where I started asking questions. Why the hell am I going to work 2 jobs, minimum wage, to have an apartment, to live here?
You're a slave.
So I could be a slave?
You're a slave.
So that's when my mentality changed in that sense. And they tried to deport me. They were like, Juan, you did your school here, you graduated, you have a clean record, but still, we want you out of here. And then when I asked, okay, well, what can I do to stay? Do you have a clean record? Yes. You did your school? Yes. And then the third one is hardship. They were like, Juan, are your parents dying? I was like, well, no, my parents are healthy. Are you dying? No. Sorry, your parents are not dying. And at that point, that's my freaking dignity. Okay. At that point, I'd rather have my parents alive and get the hell out of this country any day. Really? I'd rather be alive and be out of this country.
How many people feel the way you feel to cross the desert and so forth?
I wouldn't imagine how many numbers.
Feel the way you feel, though.
Yeah. Well, I've crossed next to my sister, and my sister got caught by the police. She was sent back there. I crossed the freeway. I seen people in there. I was on the other side of the fence with people crawling and crying, running back because they got sabotaged. So like, yeah, there's a lot of people that feel like I do.
Really?
And
do they want an answer to that? Would they fight for an answer to that if they could? Would they organize?
Well, so far I've seen there's been some changes, at least some, for some immigrants, Mexicans at least, to get help, to get their papers, to be able to get a license. So you heard, to have an education that doesn't cost so much, because I would the type of it, I would still have to pay for my education.
Let me ask you something, Carmen. Somebody else want to comment? I thought you had a comment.
The immigration situation in America is its own can of worms, in so many ways,
Yeah, it's unfair.
Because ultimately, I believe in some regards, it's a situation that is created, for this kind of like indentured slavery kind of thing that these corporations require people to ultimately work, and the system of profit making, and kind of it's a very sinister system.
Yes, it is.
And it's basically the way it is throughout many countries, and it's like down the ladder, the countries that become the providers of the labor force, they have their own issues. It's like, why are people fleeing their countries? You know what I mean? I mean, there's so that's what I'm saying. The immigration system is a whole can of worms. The problems in America, to my eye, and I don't mean to divert from the issue, but the problems that affect American citizens right now reflect a lot of the issues that happen in places like Argentina and in other countries earlier in the 70s, with the dissolving of their political rights and the political systems that protected the citizens. And that's happening here, and people don't want to look at that. And I know, I'm sorry, you mentioned earlier something about the government and the dissolution, but what happened, the power of the individual citizen, that is eradicating. The checks and balances of this country are being eradicated, and we are being kind of sideswiped, being thrown issues that are important and they're imperative, like the race card, right? The racial issues that are imperative. But more imperative is the fact that the citizenship in this country is being dissolved and being corralled. And because we're fighting for all these other things, we're losing sight of the fact. We're losing sight of the ground that's being broken up right from under our feet.
Good point. Okay.
Bravo. Well said.
Yeah. Look, let's take, before we go to community calendar, Carmen, and remember, I want to get into also a discussion of the cultural arts in the Skid Row community, the mentally ill. But I want to have you do a poem for us. What are you going to do?
I think I'll start off with La Santa.
Okay. Carmen Vega. What do that mean can you break that down?
I can't hear myself. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
La Santa is the saint or the virgin.
Okay.
Oh, Santa. Santa, the Virgin.
La Santa.
All right.
Ay, Virgencita milagrosa, ampáranos, Gran Señora, ay, líbranos hoy, libéranos. A virginal pink face, a long, narrow nose, and a sweet head tucked beneath a white veil, arropada. She stands with her hands wide open, welcoming all to come and implore, welcoming all who come and implore her merciful miracles by the fringe of a turquoise blue robe. Her habit is a white gown, white turquoise waistband, 9 pom-pom balls at the end, worn for a time when the promise is granted as recompense, sacrifice, retribution, or while waiting for the wish to come true. Mom wore the habit for La Milagrosa when she expected miracles. But she stopped when the prisons locked, their doors were shut, and we waved goodbye to her son behind the plexiglass window. We'd listen through the plastic phone to his forlorn voice, distanced by the black receiver. This was so long ago, and yet it pains me as if it were yesterday. I cry with her in empathy for all mothers who leave their sons sealed from touch, no humane contact. I cry with her about a world of pain tantamount to a volcanic eruption tearing apart from the core, in a world of isolation, no one to turn to when the day is done, no one to save you and your wayward son, in the land of the free, in the land of the free, where doomsday finds unprotected valiant souls seeking shelter from the rain back home, where the persecution never ended, you just grew used to it. In the land where the roads are paved with cold gold, and you hear the sounds, unfamiliar talk, but your tongue is stuck in your own back home. Where to turn, who to run, where do you find comfort when she stands there welcoming you in silence? She hears your plight and listens without judgment. And you tell her your sorrow, and you tell her your dreams, and you ask for forgiveness because you acted. And now we are here beneath the setting sun of a strange country. You ask her to forgive you because you incited the departure from a place where we knew our way in familiar streets and alleys. And now your child is lost. Is it all your fault? Will she help you now? Can she bring him back? Will she bear her mercy upon you? You will wear her habit months in turn, if she would grant you solace from the acrid rain in the strange terrain of the foreign soil where your hopes and dreams were shattered. And now you have no one to talk to. Por favor, mi Virgen, Madre de Misericordia, ampáranos, Gran Señora, y líbranos, libéranos. Free us from the burning rain in the strange terrain where we hear the sounds, but they bear no name we could wear proudly. In this foreign land we don't understand, and yet we've got to go on living. Help us, Mother of Mercy, we implore you. Have mercy upon us. Bring our sons home. There is much to bring our sons home from: drugs, destitution, unemployment, war, a world of disillusion. I implore you, Mother of Mercy, bring my son home. Ay, Virgencita Mamita milagrosa, ampáranos, Gran Señora, y líbranos hoy, líbranos hoy, libéranos.
Bravo. All right. That was great. Okay, let's take a break for our community calendar. We'll come back with some more live performances, more discussion with Ted Hayes and our other guests.
This is the community calendar for upcoming events. Wednesday, April the 1st, 2015, at 5:30, we're going to have Tech Talk Retreat. This is for Skidrow radio show hosts and potential show hosts to come together and discuss ways and means to promote their shows. It consists of workshops, networking with intern and engineers. Our guest speaker will be Michael Novak, and he is Changing Link newspaper. Also, musical guests will be Willis Boyd. This is a free event. Refreshments will be served. There will also be time for Q&A. The location is the Vortex, 2341 East Olympic Boulevard. For more information, please call 213-479-1764. Sunday, April the 5th, 2015, from 2 p.m. to 4:30, Coach Ron and the world-famous Skidrow 3-on-3 March Madness Tournament is being held at the world-famous Gladys Park. The park is located at 804 East 6th Street, Los Angeles, California, 921. Ron is asking you to please come out and support the 3-on-3 League. And for more information, please contact Coach Ron at 626-277-3457. Friday, April the 17th, 2015 at 6 p.m., the Los Angeles Poverty Department and Drama Stage Qumran present a stage reading of If the Shoe Fit, Voices from Solitary Confinement. The location is the Los Angeles PD Museum, 440 South Broadway on the second floor, and this is in downtown Los Angeles. And this is a free event. All are welcome to attend. Light refreshments will be served, and there will also be time for Q&A. For more information on this event, please contact 213-479-1764. Wednesday, April the 29th, 2015 at 6 p.m., Drama Stage Qumran Nasana Play Reading Series present Wake Up. This is a play written by Tim Dick Mackey. This is about his story about gangs and his school of hard knocks. The location of the reading will be the Vortex, 2341 East Olympic Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 921. This is also a free event. Light refreshments will be served. All are invited to attend. There will also be resources from gang intervention programs. Also, there will be time for a Q&A. For more information, please contact 213-908-6587. If you have a community event that you would like announced on our show, please send the information to dramastage1@yahoo.com. Attention, Earlene Anthony. And the call-in number for our show is 800-893-9562. Now, back to our host.
Okay, thank you, Miss Earlene Anthony. And now, before we get into our live performance and some more poetry and musical, Ted, I want you to tell us about your upcoming Ted Hayes show coming up and your co-host, some of the things that you got planned.
Well, God willing, thank you. I appreciate that, Melvin. You know, God willing, depending on getting a sponsor and everything, we're going to do talk show and be a host of it. And my Ace Coon Boone right here is my eldest son, Theo. I call him Thee. He's going to be my co-host. And I want to break him into the business, as it were, so he can handle things. And then want him known more. He's bound down. Well, say for yourself, man.
Yeah.
For yourself, you know. Yeah, okay.
Go ahead,
He'll have his free time. But he's done some time downtown, you know, and he knows some people. People know him, and they know my son, that we work together. And I'm really excited that, you know, he and I play cricket together. My youngest boy that was here, we've traveled to England and Australia playing cricket. It's the only American-born cricket team. So I appreciate being able to work with my sons like this and something like this. Not every father can claim that. So every year when Father's Day, that's the best one for me. That's these guys.
All right.
Beautiful, that's beautiful. Oh, good, wonderful. We're going to make that happen then. All right. Did you want to say something real quick, Theo, about the show coming up? We're looking forward to hearing your voice.
I'm thankful and fortunate to be here, and I'm learning a lot tonight, and I'm looking forward to what the future holds in regards to some solutions, getting our people off the streets. And it's going to take some time, but I'm comfortable with his solution, and I'm going to be a part of it. I'm a servant of the Lord, and you know He's called me, like He's called the rest of us. We need to be responsible.
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right.
Okay.
And Isaac, my youngest son, he'll be coming periodically and bringing reports in and friends, because he's also like my son here, the rap artist and lyricist and producer. So there'll be music they'll be bringing to the table.
Oh,
It'll be
beautiful.
pretty exciting. Some young people in here. We're going to really rock it up.
Oh, yeah. Some more musicians. Beautiful.
All right.
Okay. Juan and Jessica, Carmen, what are you going to sing for? What, you want to do the musical first, or you want to do the poem
Yeah,
first?
we can do the song first. That's
Okay.
fine. And we're doing a cappella.
Yeah. Carmen, are you in the song too? Oh.
No, that's just her. That's what
No, Carmen's going to do the rapping.
All right.
What's the name of it?
This is called Navajo Sand.
Okay.
Oh, Navajo people. I know
That's
the president
right.
of Navajo land. They
Yeah.
have been there.
Jessica and Juan.
Yep. Oh, Navajo sand, oh, baptize me so I may live again. Once I lived to 23. I woke up once and didn't see me. I created sad, felt so low and missed my dad. He retired. Oh, Navajo sand. Oh, baptize me so I may live again. Dead again at 32. Thought I knew myself, I hardly knew. I was defeated, baby, from my past. Everything around was dark and black. Oh, but I kept on going down the line. Gotta listen to the vision inside. Oh, Navajo sand. Oh, thank you for letting me live again. And using the eyes, I breathe deep when I'm really alive. Yeah. Oh, Navajo sand. Oh, thank you for letting me live again. And using the eyes, I breathe a deep way, and I'm really alive. Oh, Navajo sands.
Yeah. Okay, Navajo Sand, dealing with the Native Americans. And Carmen, can you do another piece for us? Right. What's the name of this piece?
This was called...
Oh, and we got about 6 minutes. I hope to have 2 or 3 minutes to close off at the end.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll keep it short, just that way. This is called Desert Song, and if you're interested in more of my work, I do have a brief website where people can get in touch with me. It's thepoetcv.webs.com, and that's D like in David, like duh poet. Duh poet CV. All right, Desert Song, because I want to commend the women aspect of the finalizing Women's Month and LA and Mother Earth and Desert Song, and here we go. Sitting in the car in an empty parking lot, I looked up and I was on a desert. Rusty fence, vacant lot. The wind rustled plastic strands strewn over barbed wire. The wind carried the silence of nature. Mother Earth marked her presence quietly. Known on the hot sun, streaming down the paved ground in a space filled with dirt piles, bottle caps, and a pickup truck against corrugated metal, mounting a wall enclosing the sun and the wind of the desert, fenced in like nature in a zoo. I looked on from my car while the moment rested on the rust of the barbed wire fence, keeping out bystanders. Don't feed while observing. Mother Earth feeds herself, and we can look on as she passes through the empty lot in the hot desert afternoon.
Yeah, all right.
I know that I had told my family, they've never heard any of my poetry, but I have a cousin, Awilda, in Buffalo. I hope she's listening. My niece and my nephews in New York, I alerted them to this radio show. And the great thing about internet is, like, you just got to have a computer. It's like, right on.
And then it'll be on YouTube tomorrow morning.
Oh, you can see it on YouTube, guys.
Yeah, send it right to me. Yeah. Look,
all the social media.
Let's go around for some closing comments, contact information. Since we're winding down, we want to know how to get more of your poetry. Tell people that. Let's start off with Ted. Closing comments.
Oh, you just contact me at tedhayes.us, tedhayes.us, and they'll give you all directions from there as to how to reach me and so forth and so on. tedhayes.us.
Definitely looking forward to your show. It's going to be needed.
Absolutely. My homeboy Theo in the house, too, with me, so that'd be great.
Theo, closing comments?
I'll be right there with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Father, son.
A closing comment. Thank you, Ted, for your knowledge and for your for everything. Thank you very much. That's something that I think I needed to hear, and then I feel people need to hear too.
And bring the flute next time.
I promise.
The flout.
The flute. I'll bring them both.
Yeah, no, we should communicate. I appreciate your honesty, and I think we should communicate.
Thank you, Ted. And you can reach me over at Facebook. That's for now. That's like the only way. My name is Juan Cardenas. I also have a band where I'm playing flute. The name of the band is called Tikal Sun, Tikal Sun as in S-U-N. And you can check us out on SoundCloud or Facebook. And also for Dia Chuchas, I have workshops, poetry workshops for youth, where we uncover poetry through music and through art. So I encourage all youth all you young warriors out there that have that voice inside. We empower you and come and join us and have fun writing poetry. Thank you.
Jessica.
Yes, I definitely welcome every one of you to join the Los Angeles Poet Society. Membership is totally free, and we're a service here to you. Just what we do is we call ourselves the bridge that bridges the Los Angeles creative communities. There's lots of heartbeats out there, and we're just trying to get everyone in touch and do some collaboration and help each other. LosAngelesPoetSociety.org. As for my poetry, you can definitely find me on Facebook, and also check out my blog. It's Europa Wind. It's EUROPAWYND at blogspot.com.
Okay.
Thanks.
Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen is also involved with Los Angeles Poverty Department Theater Group, and they are opening a museum on, I think it's 440 Broadway. It's part of the counter dialect around the opening of Broadway. So we're doing the Skidrow Museum. Nice. Right, it should be on Broadway too, because that's part of the original Skidrow. And I know that it's either in April or May that I'm going to be conducting a workshop of poetry.
In May. Mm-hmm.
It's in May okay. I haven't finalized the date, but I will definitely post it on my website when I have it. But you can also go to lapoverty.org and be abreast of the wonderful projects and programs that the organization puts together. It's we work very much with Skidrow community and issues, social issues. Thank you, Melvin, for inviting me.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. I'd like to extend a special thanks to my special guests, Ted Hayes, Fort Carmen Vega, Jessica, and Juan Cardenas. And we got a Theo over there who's going to be the co-host with Ted. Looking forward to that. My co-host, Earlene Anthony. Isaac was here earlier. Thank you for tuning in to the Coonrand Report, and from your host, Melvin Ishmael Johnson. May the peace and blessings of the life-giving creative spirit be upon you and upon your family. I leave you with the song that opened the show, Change Comes Slow, by S.S. Jones.
When I first met Barack, I was ready for some change. I thought that John McCain was just some more of the same. What I didn't know 4 years ago was that change comes slow. It took 400 years to free the slaves. Lord, I hope they're resting easy in their graves. 'Cause the one thing in America that we all know is that change comes slow. Change comes slow. Hey, Barack, I know you tried to...